So what if the changes coming to the Galaxy S24 series are great, but really not easy to notice? As yes, a new batch of rumors paint a very interesting picture for the Galaxy S24s that are coming. It seems the dream iPhone SE is on its way from Apple, and by that I mean major design changes. And it seems Oppo is prepping another foldable this year, and it's actually not the one you think. I'm Jaime Rivera, and it's about that time where I wish I had an extra 5 cups of coffee. Don't even ask me why. This is Pocketnow Daily. There is, again, no official news today, so let's start the video with Apple because we have new reports about the future of the Apple Watch. Okay, so last week we talked about how this new series will only get some minor changes that could be considered more of a refresh to previous models. However, it seems like the big changes will come next when the Apple launches the 10th generation, which, of course, they could be planning to call it the Watch X for Watch 10. Mark Gurman claims that it could be the biggest upgrade in Apple Watch history. Apparently, the company is working on making the Watch X or 10 case thinner, and for the first time, it will be changing how the wristbands attach to the case. The current system takes up too much room, apparently, which Apple could use for a bigger battery. It seems like a magnetic attachment system is being considered, but that might not be ready for next year when Apple plans to launch it. We're more than a year away from the launch, so there's not that much information available right now, but I'm pretty sure that we'll be hearing a lot of information in the upcoming months, so stay tuned because it does sound interesting. Now let's talk about Oppo, since we have new renders showcasing the design of the Oppo Find N3 Flip, and there's a reason why you should care. A few weeks ago, we talked about the first renders, but now we have updated images that show some pretty interesting possible changes to these renders. This time, the information comes from Digital Chat Station, and we can notice that the biggest change is the camera island, which is now shown as a ring housing the 3 sensors and the Hasselblad branding, though I would take this with a grain of salt because it does look pretty small for that chassis. The good news is that we still get to see the 3 sensors, which would be groundbreaking for the camera departments of clamshell smartphones, and the tall cover screen display appears to be the same, and it pretty much just follows the design of the Find N2 Flip in that regard, which means it would have a 3.2-inch AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate. Now, on the other hand, the inner display is expected to be a 6.8-inch LTPO AMOLED with 120Hz refresh rate. The camera ring will house a 50-megapixel main camera sensor with OIS alongside an 8-megapixel ultra-wide and a 32-megapixel telephoto. The Find N3 Flip is also certified to carry 67 watts of fast charging this time, an improvement over 33 watts, and we also have new details regarding the launch date. And it's just around the corner, because according to Max Jambor, the report claims that we could expect it on August 29th, which is, like 6 months after the first model? So, I know, I'm shocked too. I'm struggling to consider the leaked design possible, and also such an early launch, but I mean, stay tuned because they clearly have competition right now. Moving on, let's talk about Apple since we have new details about the upcoming iPhone SE that are pretty interesting. I know it's been a while since the last time we talked about Cupertino's mid-ranger, but today we have some pretty interesting reports, and honestly, it's shaping up to be one of the best options out there whenever it gets launched, assuming this will happen. It is reported that the new model will be based on the iPhone 14 and will feature USB-C for the first time. The report also mentions that it will finally come with Face ID, contradicting previous rumors claiming that it would retain a Touch ID button. Most interestingly, we also hear that Apple plans to add an action button, similar to what we hear with the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. This would be a clear differentiating factor when compared to the base models, because apparently those are going to continue with the mute switch. Finally, it surfaced that manufacturers are currently bidding to receive orders from Apple for the first OLED panels that will replace the LCD panels on the new generation. It is also believed that the iPhone SE 4 will be one of the first models to include Apple's long-rumored custom 5G modem. Now, as for the launch date, it's still unclear, but we'll keep you posted since there was no mention of the size. It could just be that this would be the replacement to the iPhone 13 mini, because otherwise, what would be special or a special edition of this phone? And finally, for the most interesting news today, let's talk about Samsung and all the recent reports about the upgrades that come to the Galaxy S24 series. Earlier today, it was revealed that Sammy's new lineup is getting an important display upgrade. The report mentions that all the three models will feature thinner and more power-efficient OLED screens. The new panels are expected to be the M13, which is Samsung Display's 13th generation AMOLED panel that will bring great improvements to the series. Now, moving on to the camera department, we reported last week that the S24 Ultra will feature a 50-megapixel 3x telephoto camera. Now, according to Ice Universe, the flagship model will feature a 50-megapixel telephoto camera with a bigger 1/2.52-inch camera sensor, which is expected to be the ISOCELL GM5, compared to the 1/3.52-inch sensor we currently have with 10 megapixels on the current model. Thanks to the bigger sensor and higher resolution, the S24 Ultra is expected to offer an improved, high-quality image even in non-native zoom levels of 5x. The report also mentions that this new sensor could allow the device to shoot 8K 30 frames per second from the telephoto camera, which it currently can only do from the primary. Moving on to the outer body, we talked a few weeks ago about the rumored claims that the new Ultra variant could come with a titanium frame, which could make the phone slightly heavier than the current aluminum frame. However, it was reported by Ice Universe that the device will be 1 gram lighter than its predecessor. So I hope that's not an excuse to make it more expensive if you're not getting any evident feature improvements, though sure, the durability is welcomed. Anyways, in today's question, let us know, what is your wish list for the Galaxy S24 series? Because in my case, if you're giving me the same designs, probably different materials, but I don't know, I wish there was a more aggressive price tag, but that's just me. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow us on social media. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me struggle with remaining awake. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.